Post-training notice. National First Class Registered Exorcist. Chapter 40. Review. Chen Zhen ended and said, "Last night, we already made the preparations, and as of right now, the Luohun bell is still in my hands, so we do not need to be afraid of Yan Fei at this moment. To tell you the truth, what I was most afraid of before was not Yan Fei, nor the power of the JIXIAN to pull souls out, but rather, I was scared that they would ignore us." Chen Zhen continued as he turned the steering wheel. "Afterwards, I thought for a long time before I understood what Xiang Chengs was trying to say. Beings like the JIXIAN that survive off ghostly power must feel a strong greed for the Luohun bell. As such, even if they knew what would happen in the future, they would definitely come that night." Xiang Cheng said, "Chen Zhen, you're saying too much. If you grow intoxicated by your successes, you will draw misfortune to yourself." "Wait a second," Zhou Wanyuan said, the corners of her mouth twitching. "What are you two talking about?" "Kita. JIXIAN." Chen Zhen smiled a little, but he listened and stopped talking. Xiang Cheng raised an eyebrow and glanced at JIXIAN. JIXIAN watched Xiang Cheng in puzzlement while saying, "What? What does that mean?" Xiang Cheng chuckled and shook his head, before gently slapping his palm against JIXIAN's shoulder to pull him over, and said, "Sleep a little." "You two are so scary," Zhou Wanyuan said. "Director Chen, I only learned of this now. When did you two discuss this and come to an agreement?" "We didn't discuss anything," Chen Zhen said, his eyebrows moving a little as he watched from the rear-view mirror. "Xiang Cheng, talented people like you are hard to find. Are you willing to come to the exorcism committee to work? I promise that no one will butt heads with you." Xiang Cheng didn't say anything. He had his earbuds in, clearly unwilling to pay Chen Zhen any attention. JIXIAN opened his eyes and watched Xiang Cheng, who had his eyes narrowed under the sunlight. The only thought he had in his head was that he wanted to hug him and give him a kiss. Xiang Cheng's eyes opened and glanced towards JIXIAN, before he pulled off an earbud and handed it to him. From it came the sound of the outside world. "Take it," Chen Zhen said to JIXIAN, before having him hug the sword of wisdom wrapped in that talisman cloth and head out. In the Lingjing alley, it wasn't time to start work yet at the exorcism committee headquarters. When the elevator doors opened, out of it appeared a man who appeared to be above 50 years of age and was wearing a suit. "Teacher Zhou," Chen Zhen immediately greeted. "Dad," Zhou Wanyuan said. JIXIAN saw that there was an employee ID hanging off the man's chest with the name Zhou Mokuo on it. "Come in, ba." That man swiped his card and they first headed to the 12th floor. Ding. The Exorcism Committee's Supervisory Bureau. A woman's voice reported the floor they were on. "Yan Fei may not necessarily come today," Zhou Mokuo said. "If he comes, you must not startle too many people, and you must capture him before work hours officially begin." "He will come," Chen Zhen said. "He would assume that I would not dare to act against him today, and that he would arrive here even earlier than me." Zhou Mokuo replied, "Let me look at the evidence. We must act first and make our reports later, because we have no more time to go through the official avenues. As soon as we do, he'll immediately know. Gagantoru Rakita, go inform the front desk to prepare a car. Use the authority of the Fieldwork Division to block off all routes to the outside, leaving only the level with the United Front Work Department, and have the flow of the array transferred to the 7th level." Kita exited the elevator on the 12th floor. "Chen Zhen, Zhou Wanyuan," Zhou Mokuo said, swiping his card for a second time. "Take the Supervisory Bureau's car. After you get out, head towards Yan Fei's house. Figure out a way to get off the car on the way there, then take the subway back. Work starts at 9, so make sure that you get back to the office building before 8:30. The Supervisory Bureau of the Exorcism Committee, the voice reporting the elevator levels said. "How about you all?" Zhou Wanyuan asked. Zhou Mokuo replied, Take this, and be careful on your way over. Zhou Mokuo pulled out an hourglass and handed it to Zhou Wanyuan, meaning that she should go do it now. Chen Zhen and Zhou Wanyuan left the elevator, and Zhou Mokuo swiped his card for the third time. I feel like Yan Fei must have his guard up, JIXIAN said to Xiang Cheng, raising his head to do so. Though Zhou Mokuo was already over 50, his back was as straight as a brush. He had one hand behind his back while he twirled the elevator card through the fingers of the other, as if he was thinking. After a short silence, Zhou Mokuo asked, "Intuition?" Zhou Mokuo glanced at JIXIAN, before his gaze shifted to Xiang Cheng's face, and he said, "You are Xiang Chenchi." "Yes," Xiang Cheng replied. "Do you still remember me?" Zhou Mokuo asked. In that instant, JIXIAN sensed an aura of danger in the elevator. "I don't remember you," Xiang Cheng said. "Back then, I was too young." Zhou Mokuo slid the elevator card across the reader as he said, "The sword of wisdom must be returned." "Return it, bot," Xiang Cheng said. But Zhou Mokuo added, "It's just a formality. To you, this artifact is already of no use." "Thank you," Xiang Cheng said in reply. "No need for thanks, this is merely returning the item to their rightful owner," Zhou Mokuo said. "You must support me. You're in charge of guarding the second floor passageway, Yan Fei will come in from there. There is cinnabar on the third floor, so go mix up a dish of cinnabar and draw the sigil of Akala on all of the doors. After you finish drawing, wait for me in the main hall." "The seventh floor," the woman's voice from the elevator said. "Reserved for the committee's use, passageway to the outside and meeting rooms. There are cameras inside." Zhou Mokuo pulled out a pack of Zonghua from his bag and handed it to Xiang Cheng, who took it and glanced at JIXIAN. Zhou Mokuo added, "I'll protect your friend." Xiang Cheng nodded. JIXIAN couldn't help feeling a little nervous. Zhou Mokuo swiped his card for the last time, and the elevator headed down. "How many people do we have?" JIXIAN asked. "Only us 6, Zhou Mokuo replied. JIXIAN's heart thumped loudly. Zhou Mokuo asked, "What is your name?" The hair at this middle-aged man's temples were already peppered with white, despite his dense brows and large eyes. Though he was already old and his face had wrinkles that had accumulated over many years, it could be seen that when he was young, he had been very handsome. It was also because Zhou Wanyuan looked like her father that she was so pretty. JIXIAN said in response. "Are you preparing to take the Exorcist exam?" Zhou Mokuo asked. JIXIAN shook his head and said, "I have no mana." "Even if you have no mana, you can still go get an exorcism license," Zhou Mokuo said mildly. "I want to go get qualified to be a member of the Yao Subduing Equipment Division." "Not bad. Have you studied?" "N. I looked at a portion of the study material." JIXIAN felt that though Zhou Mokuo was not talking openly, interacting with him was very comfortable. "Thank you for being friends with Wanyuan, for looking out for her," Zhou Mokuo continued. "It's her who's been looking out for me," JIXIAN replied, smiling. "Where are we going now?" "The storeroom," Zhou Mokuo replied. "Remember that whatever happens today, you must not tell anyone. No matter who asks what is wrapped in the 3 lives cloth, you must only answer 'I don't know' and that you haven't unwrapped it, nor have you seen it." With a ding, the elevator arrived at the underground level. Zhou Mokuo and JIXIAN walked out of the elevator, switching to a different one. "Teacher Zhou, good morning." An infrared light shot out of the inside of the elevator, and it began to scan the two of them. "Good morning," Zhou Mokuo replied. "I am going to the storeroom." "Long time no see," the computerized voice said. "It has already been 6 years since the last time you set foot in the exorcism committee, and your access will soon expire. Please remember to renew accordingly at the earliest time possible." Zhou Mokuo didn't reply, and he and JIXIAN kept descending. After a whole minute passed, they stopped somewhere underground. In front of them was a door. Zhou Mokuo came to a stop, and a scanner swept over his pupil, activating the door. The second door led to a disinfecting chamber. The third steel door swiveled and opened. "Please wait in front of the door," the robotic voice said. After that, they passed through a passageway that was plastered with talismans. Under their feet was rippling black water, and the two of them walked across on a steel bridge. JIXIAN couldn't resist taking a look down at the pool of water. "Yao melting water," Zhou Mokuo said. JIXIAN nodded. There was a row of safes at the very back, and when Zhou Mokuo raised his head to look, all of the doors were closed. "Check the IDs," Zhou Mokuo said. "They're on the yellow cloth." JIXIAN handed it to Zhou Mokuo, only for him to say, "You hold it. To avoid leaving any fingerprints, I can't touch it, but it's fine for you since you're not a worker for this regional division." JIXIAN found a very small ID, and he said, "B16. "Hold onto the thing tightly," Zhou Mokuo said, before he raised a hand flat into the air. JIXIAN felt a wave of power dragged himself into the air, and he slowly began to rise, coming to a stop in front of safe B16. Zhou Mokuo's other hand pressed a few times at the front of the safe. "High-level artifact case, B16. Please enter the access code. Clear all past records, and reinitialize the access code," Zhou Mokuo replied. "Authorization required. Execute with the highest level of authorization, that of the head of the exorcism committee, Zhou Mokuo. Authorization level passed. Please enter the new access code." The door to the safe sprung open, and JIXIAN put the artifact in, before the safe door closed again. As if Zhou Mokuo had shed a heavy burden, he said, "It's done." JIXIAN and Zhou Mokuo returned to the 7th floor and entered the main conference hall of the committee. Zhou Mokuo went in and closed all the doors, while Xiang Chang, holding a brush in one hand and a porcelain dish in the other, was dipping the brush in cinnabar to draw out strange symbols. Every time Zhou Mokuo passed by a door, he slapped the handle with his hand and the cinnabar on the door began to glow. Lastly, he entered the meeting room, which was echoingly empty in the middle aside from a grand piano. A clock hung on the wall, it was 8:10. Zhou Mokuo let out a long breath, before he sat down in front of the piano and flipped through the music scores. "Xiang Qinqi," Zhou Mokuo said. "After Yan Fei arrives, please shut off the array that connects to the outside world." Xiang Chen nodded. "Well then," Zhou Mokuo continued, "now we must wait." The phone that Zhou Mokuo had placed on the piano rang with a call from Kita. "Yan Fei gave me a call," Kita said. "He asked if the supervisory bureau had dispatched a car, and he requested to see the car records. I sent the records to him." "Very good," Zhou Mokuo said. "Go to the 7th floor to regroup, and prepare to catch a turtle in a jar." Chen Zhen took a look at his watch, and he drove the car up onto the overpass. "We'll get off at the next intersection," Chen Zhen said. "Head directly to the subway." Zhou Wanyuan looked into her makeup mirror, fixing her makeup as she said, "Director Chen, have you made any preparations? My dad just told you to be careful on the road, but the way I see it, you're not being careful at all." Chen Zhen replied, "Haven't you already made the preparations?" Zhou Wanyuan rolled her eyes at Chen Zhen and pulled out the hourglass that Zhou Mokuo had given her, placing it at the front of the car. In the blink of an eye, a dump truck turned the corner and came speeding at them from the side. Chen Zhen roared, "Hit the brakes." Zhou Wanyuan reached out with one hand, and she flipped the hourglass over. The instant that first grain of sand passed through the stem of the hourglass, the world suddenly underwent a miraculous change. The passage of time immediately grew impossibly slow, and the dump truck stopped in that moment, skidding towards them with a drifting motion. Zhou Wanyuan and Chen Zhen each opened their car doors and leapt out of the car. Chen Zhen pulled out a straw doll and tossed it into the car, while the two of them swiftly vaulted over the railings of the overpass, rushing off the bridge at the fastest speed possible. The crowd froze where they were, before they took steps at an exceedingly slow pace. A drop of water dripped off a flower pot up high, frozen in the air. Chen Zhen and Zhou Wanyuan ran to the entrance to the subway station, panting heavily. Zhou Wanyuan dragged him in, and a piercing screech like that of a steam whistle echoed through the station. The two of them managed to squeeze onto the subway at the last second. In the hourglass, the last grain of sand fell. Beep. The doors to the platform and the doors to the car closed first and second respectively, and the subway chugged away. On the overpass, the symbol on the straw doll's chest lit up, and it transformed into a humanoid shape. The company vehicle was squashed by the dump truck, crushed with a pen between the railings and the dump truck, turning into a pile of useless scrap metal. From inside, fresh blood shot out. 8:28 a.m. Yan Fei took off his sunglasses and swiftly walked up to the second floor of a coffee shop. He straightened his tie in the mirror that hung in the stairwell, before sucking in a deep breath and taking a call. "I found a bottle," the person on the other end of the line said. "Bring the bottle here," Yan Fei said. "I will wait for you in the enforcement division." Yan Fei walked to the piano on the second floor of the coffee shop, and he sat down. In the meeting room of the committee, Zhou Mokuo raised his eyes to look at the clock on the wall. His fingers glossed over the keys of the piano, coming to a stop on one. In the coffee shop, Yan Fei pressed down the first key, and he played a section of a piece. At the same moment, Zhou Mokuo's surroundings began to glow with a white light, as if he was sensing the melody on the other end. Swiftly, he played Beethoven's Sonata Pathetic, and as soon as he started, he continued on like a boat in the flow of a river. The two melodies coming from the coffee shop and the committee headquarters sounded at once, resonating together. In the meeting room, the scenery flashed between the coffee shop, the four walls of which were covered in books, and the vastness of the meeting room, bordered by the four walls. As Zhou Mokuo's hands pressed down on the keys, there was a sudden boom, and light came shooting in from all sides, forming Yan Fei's body. The sound of the piano stopped, and Yan Fei was stunned to find himself standing in the middle of the meeting room. "Yan Fei." Zhou Mokuo looked up at him and said coldly, "Yan Fei, you truly have disappointed me." Yan Fei subconsciously turned to flee, but the four doors in the meeting room simultaneously glowed with a bright light. Yan Fei let out a loud shout as he was sent flying. "Listen to me!" Yan Fei roared. I'll tell you everything." Xiang Cheng held the Yao subduing staff in his hand as he walked towards Yan Fei. Yan Fei staggered to his feet as he said, "Teacher, don't attack, I have difficulties that I cannot say." "Put the artifact down on the ground," Zhou Mokuo said. Yan Fei suddenly charged towards Xiang Cheng, who leapt backwards, spreading his arms out in midair and turning back. He then pulled the Yao subduing staff over, and with a whip of the staff, Yan Fei slammed into it, who spitted out blood from that impact. He fell back towards the corner of the meeting room, before he kicked off hard from the long table, his hands protecting his head. He broke through the glass of the big window in the meeting room on the 7th floor, and with a huala he went crashing down. Xiang Cheng and Zhi Ziaduo's expressions changed at the same time, and they ran to the window. Zhou Mokuo, however, sat down in front of the piano. "Wait here," Xiang Cheng said, before he stepped onto the window and leapt down as well. Yan Fei was suspended in the air, his suit flapping in the wind as he shot towards the vast, empty plaza like a bullet. Like a stage magician, he shook out a string of paper airplanes, which rotated through the air. Yan Fei stepped onto them, circling down towards the plaza. Yet, Xiang Cheng was even faster than him. With one foot, he trod onto Yan Fei's spine and kicked him off the paper airplanes. Zhou Mokuo pressed a piano key and the piano sound resounded. In that instant, the fountains in the Exorcism Committee Plaza underwent an incredible transformation, and a water dragon took form amongst the thundering music that echoed like a symphony, roaring as it leapt for Yan Fei. Xiang Cheng stepped on the water dragon's back and landed safely on the ground, while Yan Fei passed through the water column, staggered to his feet and bolted. Instantly, white doves flew at him from all sides, spreading open their wings that blocked out the sky. Xiang Cheng stepped onto the water dragon's back, and in a few short seconds, managed to intercept Yan Fei at the last moment before he escaped from Lingjing Alley. He then turned again, rushed forward, and kicked him in the waist, which sent Yan Fei's entire body shooting out, and he landed, limbs spread in a posture akin to worship, on the ground. The flying doves flashing with white light took the form of a protector beast the height of a human, and they flooded over him in a dense mass, holding Yan Fei down. Kita charged out from the building, while Chen Zhen and Zhou Wanyuan rushed in from outside. Xiang Cheng shook open the Yao binding rope, securely tying it around Yan Fei. The sound of Zhou Mokuo's piano stopped. It was 8:30 in the morning and the burning light of the midsummer sun shone towards the tall building. All of them had sweat running down their backs, their heads spinning. 10 o'clock in the morning. The executive committee began their meeting, and Zhou Mokuo began by denouncing the crimes that had been committed, while Zhi Xiaoduo and Xiang Cheng waited in the next office. The two of them had turned into ghosts the night before and were not tired. Kita, however, was leaning on the sofa, sleeping so deeply that he was snoring. "I return the sword of wisdom," Zhi Xiaoduo said in a small voice. "But I remember which safe it was, and if we have a chance next time, we'll steal it back." "Shh," Xiang Cheng said, waving his hand. "I've already gotten it." "Really?" Zhi Xiaoduo's heart thumped. Xiang Cheng replied, "What you put back was only the body of the sword made from dark steel. I've already retrieved the essence of the sword of wisdom, and just like the Yao subduing staff, it can attach itself to any weapon." Zhi Xiaoduo nodded, feeling relieved. Xiang Cheng let out a long breath, watching Zhi Xiaoduo as if he had something to say, yet could not say it. "Zhi Xiaoduo." Xiang Cheng's face turned red and he shook his head, saying, "Nothing." What?" Zhi Xiaoduo asked. "Say it." "Nothing," Xiang Cheng replied, smiling. "It's really nothing." From the outside, someone knocked on the door. Zhi Xiaoduo. An office clerk beckoned him over. Zhi Xiaoduo walked into the conference room to be interrogated by a group of higher-ups. This time the affair was a lot larger and there were more than 10 people in the conference room. The bindings holding Yan Fei had been changed to metal chains, and as he sat on a chair, he looked at the ground. Zhi Xiaoduo studied that old Buddha. Her eyes were red, and she had clearly been crying. Si Gui stood on Zhi Xiaoduo's left-hand side, burying its head in its wings. Zhi Xiaoduo felt that this was a little odd. Why would Si Gui be taking Xiang Cheng's place in listening in? He reached out a hand and stroked Si Gui, and at that, Si Gui snuggled into his arms. After Zhi Xiaoduo addressed the entire series of events, a higher-up asked, "What was the artifact?" "I don't know," Zhi Xiaoduo said, glancing at Zhou Mokuo who was drinking tea. "I didn't open it." "Did you know Yan Fei before?" another young woman asked. "I didn't." Zhi Xiaoduo shook his head. On the screen appeared the scene of Zhou Mokuo and Zhi Xiaoduo entering the underground storeroom. "Look closely," Division Chief Lin Yura said. "This is you, is it not?" "It is," Zhi Xiaoduo said. "Teacher Zhou had me go down there with him to return the thing." "You haven't lost the memories regarding this event," Lin Yura said. "Then, let me ask you one last time. You do not know what artifact was wrapped in the 3 lives cloth, nor have you opened it, is that right?" "That's right," Zhi Xiaoduo said, nodding. "What's inside?" "I didn't see it at all." None of the higher-ups spoke, and Lin Yura let out a sigh. Zhi Xiaoduo found this a little strange. Yan Fei had brought the sword of wisdom out, but did he not know what was inside? Did the JIXIAN and the JIXIAN not tell him either? He understood things at once. Before everyone could investigate the artifact, Zhou Mokuo had already put it back to its original spot, and the safe in the storeroom didn't seem to be that easy to open, so they couldn't take it out again to verify. "Sit here for a bit," said Bureau Chief Wang, whom they had seen before. Then, to Zhou Wanyuan they said, "Wanyuan, pour him some tea." The superiors began their mid-session intermission, and only Lin Yuro watched Zhi Xiaoduo fixedly. Under the gaze of those yin-yang eyes, Zhi Xiaoduo felt greatly panicked, and he remembered that Chen Zhen had said before that Yan Fei was her great-great-grandson, so he couldn't help feeling a little fear after everything was said and done. If she was the big boss behind the scenes, then would she come back and get revenge on them? Yan Fei remained silent from the beginning to the end. A bit later, a man came over and said, "The inspection passed. It's the same artifact, and it was not exchanged." The man stuck the USB on the keychain into the computer, and a video appeared. The video began to play. The person filming the video was sitting on the stairs, directly facing the door to the B16 safe. They seemed to be using some special method to verify the authenticity of the object through the door of the safe. The door of the safe shone with a bright pattern. "You may leave," Lin Yura said. Zhi Xiaoduo let out a breath. After coming out, Xiang Cheng asked, "They didn't force you to answer anything, did they?" "They didn't." Zhi Xiaoduo smiled mischievously at Xiang Cheng. A moment later, sounds of discussion came from outside, and the higher-ups left. Zhou Wanyuan entered and kicked Kita, which jolted him awake. Chen Zhen knocked on the door, before he came in and sat down on the sofa. "In these past few days, everyone has worked hard," Chen Zhen said, organizing the materials in his hands. "The JIXIAN case has come to a close and Yan Fei has been taken into custody. There are still follow-up questions that needed to be investigated. This portion is confidential, so I cannot tell you all in detail." Kita yawned and took the materials. Zhi Xiaoduo and Xiang Cheng each took one, and Xiang Cheng flipped a page unconcerned, saying, "Would there be a follow-up?" "Perhaps," Chen Zhen said. "But capturing Yan Fei is already a great achievement for us. This is a case that has been ongoing since April of this year," Zhou Wanyuan said. Zhi Xiaoduo looked over the detailed records of the case, which were a good 7 or 8 pages long. The JIXIAN had hidden themselves in the capital since April and stayed for a whole season. During that time, they had constantly made bargains with Yan Fei, and as for how Yan Fei had become connected to them, he hadn't been interrogated yet, so that was impossible to address. In May, to obtain an artifact that had been taken back to the exorcism committee, the JIXIAN, without any notice, sucked away the souls of many students and kept them for their own use, in order to figure out the specific location of the artifact. At the same time, they agreed to the terms of their bargain with Yan Fei. Yan Fei would steal the artifact for the JIXIAN, while the two JIXIAN would help Yan Fei predict the not-too-distant future. According to the situation in the future, Yan Fei would come up with questions for the qualification exam, and with the changes in the exorcism committee's personnel, insert his own people in there. "Why did he want," Zhi Xiaoduo asked, confused, "want this artifact?" "That is the biggest question in this case," Chen Zhen said. According to Yan Fei's account, he didn't know. "No one knew, and the only one that's encountered it before is you." Chen Zhen's eyebrows moved a little as he watched Zhi Xiaoduo. Zhi Xiaoduo knew that Kita also knew, and as of now, only 3 people knew that the Sword of Wisdom was actually within Xiang Cheng. "Do you think Teacher Zhou knows?" Xiang Cheng asked. Chen Zhen shrugged. Zhi Xiaoduo looked further down, and inside was the summary of the case written by the person who had closed it out, Chen Zhen. In the process of investigating the case, Zhou Mokuo sensed some ghost energy that would have interfered with the exam this time. Zhi Xiaoduo was immediately so shocked that he went bug-eyed, thinking, Zhou Wanyuan's dad was so scary, could he even sense this? "What does your dad do?" Xiang Cheng asked. He's a musical array teacher, Zhou Wanyuan said. Director Chen and Yan Fei were both his students before. He was the one who invented the musical transmission format, but basically every artifact that makes sound falls under my family's jurisdiction for research. We also only managed to borrow the Luohun bell after teacher Zhou approved it, Chen Zhen said. Through the entire process, we used the fact that the JIXIAN could only know the surface layer, which includes the real world, as well as sounds and images, and with the special feature of it having no way to dig into a person's heart, we managed to come to a tacit agreement with Xiang Cheng. We utilized the JIXIAN's greed for souls that the Luohun bell incited and gave them a dose of their own medicine. We invited the JIXIAN over, once again activated the Luohun bell, and sent you guys to his side. Then, we used the power of souls to track them, and during the Ghost Festival, we managed to capture both him and Yan Fei in one fell swoop. Did the JIXIAN die? JIXIAN asked. Did it dissipate? Then if it dies, will no one be able to summon the JIXIAN again? The power of the Fuji is a kind of agglomeration of spirit, Chen Zhen said. It is not the only one, it's just that these two devils have lived the longest, so their power is stronger as well. If you were to summon a JIXIAN now, you would still be able to, but it'd be another devil that's willing to make a deal with you for the sake of swallowing your soul. As long as there are humans who desire to pry into the future, the JIXIAN's existence will continue to accompany humans. So, that's that, Chen Zhen said. After reading over the case conclusion report, return it to me and don't go spreading it around. Chen Zhen took away the case conclusion report, and Zhou Wanyuan asked, wait, what about the additional points like we agreed on? What additional points? Chen Zhen asked. Kita, Zhou Wanyuan, and JIXIAN all sucked in a deep breath. Kita, you lied to us. JIXIAN roared, you said that you'd give us extra points on the first class exam. I didn't say that, Chen Zhen said resolutely. Whoever said that, go find them. Zhou Wanyuan cried out miserably, Lao Niang worked her ass off for so long, all for those 15 points. And now you're telling me that you can't add points. Xiang Cheng watched them silently. JIXIAN, that's right, wait, you guys are also taking the first class exam. Kita replied, of course we're taking it. Otherwise, who will keep him company to while away the time? Director Chen, you're going back on your word. Chen Zhen said in response, I'm also taking the exam. This is the first year we're trying this out after the reform, so everyone has to take the exam. Whether or not you get bonus points, is that very important? If everyone gets bonus points, then isn't that the same as not getting any? It's for world peace. Come over here, Xiang Cheng said, beckoning JIXIAN over. Don't stay too close to Chen Zhen. Fuck off with your world peace. Kita raged. Who the fuck cares about your everyone gets bonus points? Zhou Wanyuan raged. Chen Zhen. Stop right there. I know that you're trying to pull out Lihan pollen. Why don't you pull it out and try it? Chen Zhen could only pull out the hand that he had stuck into his pocket, saying, next Wednesday is my birthday, I'll invite everyone out for a meal. Let's go to Kita's house to make food, how about that? Zhou Wanyuan, you. Director Chen. You're too vicious. Not adding points is one thing, but you even want Lao Niang to give you birthday gifts. I don't have a choice either, Chen Zhen said. Why don't you go ask your dad? JIXIAN, however, began to feel sympathy for Chen Zhen, and he said, all right, let's all depend on our own skills ba. On our own? Zhou Wanyuan asked. You're telling me to go do multiple answer questions. Can you show some consideration for the fried brain cells of us dunces? Chen Zhen raised his hands in surrender, saying, everyone, go back and study well. Ikita's eyes sparkled with stars as he said, I'm betting that this year, I'm going to fail on the practical portion again. Man, what year will it be before I get my qualifications? The exorcism committee closed the case that very day without startling anyone. The exam was due to start on September 1st, so after JIXIAN and Xiang Cheng attended the students' funeral, they began to review frantically once they got home. JIXIAN thought, how about I forget any issues with saving face or chasing someone in reverse, and go confess to Xiang Cheng after the exam. Kita, however, still remembered what he had agreed upon with JIXIAN, and every now and then he would send WeChat messages to disturb him, asking if he wanted him to pretend that they were dating. JIXIAN hurriedly responded that he didn't want that anymore, don't disturb his studying, if he flunked the exam, then he was really done for. According to what Kita had heard from Zhou Wanyuan's dad, the exam this time was actually somewhat difficult. 30 points came from multiple choice questions, 30 points came from analysis questions, which came to a total of 60 points, and the practical portion was 40 points. Before, even if they had passed the exam, they had to retake it this year to be given a new ranking. In the end, all of the exorcists who had participated in the exam would undergo a screening. Based on their scores, the first and second classes would be divided up. Of course, this was a rule set for the first year alone, because the number of people who had to take this exam was far too many. Next year, the first and second class exams would be separated. As for what the practical portion involved, even the contents of it weren't mentioned, they merely had everyone go study and prepare for the exam. Compared to that, the qualification that JIXIAN was secretly getting, the Yao subduing engineer, was not difficult, because it only had two sections, the written and oral exams. 30 points of the written exam came from multiple choice questions, while the other 30 came from analysis questions, and the oral exam was 40 points. Xiang Cheng's head spun from all the books he had memorized. Every single day, he was thinking about the exam. JIXIAN also borrowed Kita's notebook while he was at it. Now, he ate some snacks as he laid on the bed, bedewing some spirits, ghosts, gods, and monsters from time to time, while updating his own flashcards. The notebook was already almost full, and JIXIAN was considering getting an electronic notepad, but the electronic version would be easily damaged from a fall. In the notebook, he doodled a manga-style boss snake. Then drew a sketch of Xiang Cheng, before drawing out an arrow with a note saying, "Akala is very strong." End chapter.